Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live on the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course. Day 2 of the 2024 meet. I'm joined by my partner, Seth Merrow. Seth, another pleasant morning, at least in the 9 o'clock slot.
And I'm going to comment once again. I am very happy with the picture. The last couple of days, I think we've moved the lights a little bit, and I think we're doing all right.
Figuring it out.
Do want to alert you that, again, the entries are open for the Play of the Day bankroll. Entries will open up a little bit later on for the Pick 3, the Sunday Pick 3 bankroll. So keep that in mind.
Over under 2.5.
I was thinking that was low when you first said that.
I did too, but I thought 3.5 is a tough number.
But it's only 8 weeks. I mean, I might have more.
I can't have you at 50%.
Yeah, no. So as I thought about it, I thought that's probably okay.
No, I was thinking about it when you were laying it out, and then after you told me it's even better because you can make multiple tickets.
That's just it. I don't know how many I'm going to do on any given
but the
week.
fact that you have that latitude is good.
But I'm thinking I'll probably concentrate more on one. I'm thinking. I don't know. And one, and then you can maybe have a ticket that spreads a little bit, and then go a little stronger with your real opinions. But if there's a couple of horses like yesterday, I probably would have done a couple at least because I had a couple of opinions. Although my horse in the first race scratched, I will say, yesterday I was treading water. I did have a cold triple, however, though, in that 3-horse race. So I had that going for me. Otherwise, I was treading water. You got that
kind of right in the morning. I thought that race would get decimated.
Yeah. You had a decent win, and didn't you scratch into the last race win or two, and then you had a decent one earlier. But I will note, Racing Across America yesterday had Kevin Cox on the Brooklyn Cowboy, and thumbs up to the Brooklyn Cowboy. He had the Queen's MG in the Schuylerville at $90-some.
$91.
Yeah.
Now we'll see once again if that mutual holds up for the meet. Wasn't it a couple years ago we had the bomb, and I was like, maybe, see if this stands up as the high water mark for the mutuals. A couple of things. My data only goes back to really when I was born, and Idealistic had paid about $70 when I was before I went to school, so that eclipsed that mark. And also, it's the first time the longest shot on the board won the Schuylerville since Najana. 91. Now, what I thought was shocking wasn't she the chalk in the Astoria?
I did not realize she was the longest shot. She was the chalk. And Tom Amello and I on Wednesday mentioned this. Beaten favorite is always kind of an interesting angle. You have to take an extra look. And had trouble in the trip. This is the kind I probably would have put a couple of bucks on it, but I was running around. I was trying to get my 10 o'clock show for today all set. And so this is the kind, though, if you're sitting there and you're enjoying a day at the races and you might have already made your bets, but you're looking at the past performances, looking up the board. And I'm not red boarding. I didn't have the horse, but it's the kind that beaten favorite, had trouble in the trip. And you look up and you see, $90. You put a couple of bucks on it because the odds, given that scenario, seem a little crazy.
Well, one of my favorite things about the 2-year-old racing, especially, it's really not an early part of the season anymore. It's kind of like the middle now and then the end. But it's how it seems like we go over the top of the betting favorites off of the one race and they regress. And, not being, that's how often do you think you see in any race where you have almost the same group, from the favoritism to the longest shot on the board? It was an 11-horse field. 11 horse. And I'll tell you what. Boy, think dinner must have been late yesterday because the Schuylerville probably leads, reads shorter than the Lincoln assassination. I mean, no one wants to run. I thought John Velasquez, I thought he got a little dinged up with complexion. He seemed to be on the monitor.
Yeah, he was kind of
rubbing the elbow thing, etc. And complexion, and the two horses don't finish the race, dump the jockeys, and next thing you know, it's opening day in the books.
Yeah, complexion. And Danny Gargan was upset. He was upset. I didn't see him. I went down to the winner's circle, but I think I was just after that. I guess he was talking to the stewards, and he was upset that, given complexion and the pre-race antics, he felt they opened the gate a little soon. If you watch it, though, the head-on, I thought the start was okay for complexion. But, again, I don't know. I would like to hear what the starter had to say and what the jock had to say. But the 8-horse, goes right to his nose, and Castellano goes head over. So, yeah, it was a race that had a few stories going in there, certainly.
I'm thinking that perhaps on the dark day, I'm going to look it up. Dylan Davis might have set a record for mutuals.
Yeah,
because he got the other one.
Yeah.
And by the way, Punch the Clock, the first time starter for Ray Handel, the only first in the race, got claimed.
Oh,
Joe Sharp and is it Jordan Wyckoff? They picked them off.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
because as you were talking, I thought you might have a good point. They may be thinking, "Oh, we got something here, but we can sneak it through."
And they did not. And what's interesting in that race, if you watch it, he was a dominant, nearly $18 winner. And that's an example where they knew, they got caught that claim, but maybe they're thinking we got the purse, we get the 30,000, we're fine. But the way that horse performed on debut, they knew it. I also want to say,
I would think we will get a shot at seeing that one back before the end of the meet, too. It'll be interesting to see where they.
It was the only first-time starter in the race, which I thought was true. But Punch the Clock coming back at nearly $18. So Dylan Davis has the $18 winner and the $90 winner. So he's near the $110 and co-leading rider. So there you have it. So very interesting. You go out last night?
I did not. No, I was running around all day and down had a little dinner at PJ's barbecue.
Yes.
Then went home and it still had some more work to do. So
if the sign is right, I noticed PJ's barbecue is got the same schedule as Naira. Dark on Monday, Tuesdays.
Yep, that's usually the game plan down there. So
always like that place. I miss the old sign, PJ's. Because you call it PJ's, that's not the name anymore. It hasn't been for years. But
I go in. I'm always chatting with PJ. He's usually at the cash register, so I'm shooting the breeze with him. But you can go in occasionally and see some horse folks in there.
Yes.
It was last summer, a couple summers ago. The Asmussen family was enjoying dinner down there.
Hey, it's very good.
Yeah,
right
down on route now.
Every day. Any business take?
Yeah, I should hit the promo certainly. Again, I mentioned it earlier because you still have a few days for both of these. But the entries for the play of the day bankroll opened a couple days ago. They'll close on Sunday. Go to the Capital OTB website, capitalotb.com. Click on the promotions link at the top of the page, and then look for this graphic. Click on that. You'll see the entry form. 50 folks will be selected. Kevin Cox and Steve Bick will have a play of the day each day during the meet, one or the other of them, and $100 will be wagered. Last year, everybody on the team got a nice little chunk of change. We'll hope for the same this year. And again, entries will close on Sunday, so put your name in for that. And entries will open for my first weekend Pick 3 bankroll. Entries will open today at noontime, so you can jump in. Same scenario. Click on the promotions link and look for this graphic. And when you go there, the entry form is there. It'll be a different team every week. So keep that in mind as the season progresses. And that'll close on Sunday as well. So that is coming up today down at the Clubhouse Racebook. Players bankroll should be fun. Randomly selected team. The players make the picks on this bankroll. And as with all the bankrolls, at the end of the day, the team splits up the accumulated winnings. So we're rooting for everybody down at the Clubhouse Racebook today to knock it out of the park. Saturday, tomorrow, fun. new contest. It's the King of the Hill promotion. That's tomorrow. It's a brand new contest. I've seen the format. It looks like a lot of fun. That'll be Saturdays this month. Certainly keep that in mind. Saturdays also. Fridays is typically Bounty Bet Day, but we have moved the Bounty Bet to Saturdays up here at Saratoga. Don't forget, some days with the number of races on a Saturday, there may be 3 pick 5. It's going to be the final pick 5, the late pick 5 on Saturdays up here at Saratoga. All you have to do to take your shot is play that late pick 5 with your Capital OTV bet account. If you hit the pick 5, great, you get that money, and maybe you scoop up the bounty as well if you're the only person to hit it. And again, just amongst that universe of folks playing via Capital OTV bet. And again, on Sundays we will have the pick 3 bankroll. So keep all of that in mind. As usual during Saratoga, plenty of promotions and events at Capital OTV. Oh, and I will also alert people at 10 o'clock. Racing Across America today, Andy Belfiore, Executive Director of NYTHA, New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. I always like to get the NYTHA folks in. We'll talk a little bit about the mission of the organization. They have one of the best offices in all of horse racing. They have a little cabin down here on the backstretch that they use during the Saratoga season. So Andy will join us. Phil Bauer, who had a nice winner yesterday with Warrior Johnny. That was a really good-looking performance, and we'll talk a little bit about that one.
Warrior Johnny back.
And it sounds like stakes are what they're looking at. We'll find out more about that, a couple other of Phil's horses, and we'll be joined a little bit later on by Mike McAdam from the Daily Gazette, get some of his impressions of the upcoming Saratoga season. Now underway, but still the vast majority ahead of us. So all of that coming up at 10 o'clock.
Some might say 97.5% in front of us. I know you talk about you would like to see a designation of main track only horses that win races. I've mentioned in the past some designation when a race is 3-year-olds and up that too. And up entered. But Brian Nadeau made a great point years ago. He said to me, he goes, you being me, would be better suited if the form was still like 1979. And I thought about it for the first time when he said that. I go, you know what? You're right. I wish they would go back to those stats. But 3 of the 5 off the turf yesterday were MTOs, winners. So I'm going to keep you posted because I do keep that stat on the MTOs. And, the race, it was 2, 7, and 8. And the 8th was the one where I said to our audience, I had done a poor job in my role here where I had done a good job realizing that I thought there was going to be some off-the-turf racing yesterday, and I somehow had a brain freeze in the 8th and just got crushed, all puns intended. But by the way, I mean, that is a tremendous job by the Brooklyn Cowboy, $91. Yeah. Oh, no, and I've said this before about Country House mostly. She clearly wasn't supposed to be $91. I mean, she's supposed to be like 12, 15 to 1. I'm not saying, that's a great pick. And I've said this before, we the people made her $91. Yeah. Because how can you go without an injury, on this favorite in the Astoria and then in a field of 11?
And his handicapping, he was picking up on all that. Nice looking debut. And then has trouble as the favorite.
Which I expect a regression. And I will say this, Long Neck Paula, who I liked, who coming out the 2, she ran okay. No one was beating the winner, but Long Neck Paula just, had every chance from the 5/16 pole, but wasn't good enough. I ran 3rd. So nice opening day. You ready?
I am.
We have 10 race card today, right? They gave us a little breather. No, it's 11 race card. No breather.
No, there's 10.
There's 10? Oh, that's good. See, green means go.
Are you a day ahead?
Yes. No, I have. I know you have. You told me, so I don't want to be. You have no rhyme nor reason to your paper clips. Is that correct?
No,
that's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on. The majority of the human race probably doesn't have rhyme or reason to their clips.
Well,
I get yours, and I kind of
why
appreciate
do they have colored ones?
I appreciate it.
If they have colored ones, why would they have colored ones if there's no rhyme or reason? Just make them all white for the rest of all time.
Well, I think it's just like people like colored stuff. I have a box that probably has 6 different colors. So
yes, so do I. You can see four of them here.
Well, I was going to say, you don't have a meeting on all 6 colors, do you? I mean, you have red, yellow, and maybe green. I can see 3.
Green means go.
Green means go. I get that.
Black means it's done. This was yesterday. Yellow is the day forthcoming. I think. So you think they just got it because people like colors and wouldn't want all white ones or black ones or blue ones?
Well, you can. You can buy boxes of all black.
You can, but I'm saying I would have thought the impetus for the multicolors was to designate something. I can't be the only one on an Excel spreadsheet that says colors mean something. It's not
I'm sure, but clips, I'll do a little survey. I'll do a little.
The king of clips is Steve Bick, so ask him if he has any. But no, green means go. So more.
Like I said, I can appreciate it.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not
all right,
that.
So green means go. So it's right. Oh, by the way, I saw my sister's birthday. See, this wasn't a problem in my youth, but our family, the bottom 3 of us, are the 13th, 14th, and 16th of July. So in the old days, it was never a thing. Now it's a thing.
My siblings were all May, and my oldest sister right at the beginning of June. Me, January.
The tough one.
And I've also said this before. Me, mistake.
Oh yeah,
I'm 7 years later.
There's a big gap. There's a big gap in 2 days, my brother.
My mother said
Whoops.
that. My mother
all right.
Said, but I love you now.
I love you. You're here now. So I'm guessing. Let me see. Let's double check this. 6:20. Still a little late for dinner. Getting people over to town. All right, the opener right outside. Oh, we got to do the bet of the day. I was wondering why my director was hounding me. All right, Kevin Cox. Little chance he's going to supplant that, but let's give it a roll on day 2.
DePaula and drive for less. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs.
The meet, and we'll be basing our success on a 50 to win, 30 to place, 20 to show wager. This is the 3rd year we've been doing our plays of the day here, and all we've done the first 2 years is win-win, as we've shown a flat bet profit over that time for our bankroll players. Let's see if we can make it a hat trick this year. We're going to dive right into things in the day's opener with number 3, Reliable Lady. This gal has been just that so far, having yet to miss a superfecta from 3 starts to date, while posting decent speed figures along the way over 2 different surfaces, which is something we like to see, a little versatility. Although we have her spotted second in our column, she is the type of safe selection that we like to use for our plays of the day because of the wager incorporated. You can feel free to prorate the recent turf effort to that of her best buyer on the dirt, as although not being well bred for the green stuff, she definitely outran her pedigree that afternoon. Additionally, the 2 favorites in here are quite suspect. One of them finished 5th at odds on first time out, and the other one is breaking from the rail first time out at this tricky 7 furlong distance, which is something that's not easy to overcome. This one is looking quite steady at 7-2 odds. So once again, our DePaula play of the day at Capital OTB is in race 1, the number 3, Reliable Lady. Have a great opening week at Saratoga, and we'll see.
It's time to thank DePaula and drive for less. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicappers Report. A nice breezy morning, or maybe that's just the fan, but a very pleasant day today. The opener, 7 furlongs, Phillies and Merrows making special weights.
I'll go with the favorite. I looked all around, and I'm not that convinced, but I don't know. Nothing else was really jumping out at me. Now, on the number, you probably should go against, but this one does have sibling Magnum Moon. You may remember that one. So there was some talent there. Most of the other siblings were win early. This one on that, and being a Todd Pletcher runner, debuted a few weeks ago up here at Saratoga and went off as a short price favorite. Part of an entry, however.
Well, that's a great sentence, huh?
What?
Debuted up here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. I think, showed some punch before fading. It seems like the kind of a race that you can build on. But again, I'm not arguing. And if you're using, playing some horizontals, I can see playing around Martingale, I think, is an interesting player off of the race down at Monmouth last time for Chad Brown. Decent little third place finish from a January to June layoff, and probably should be primed for a nice effort. Reliable lady, turf to dirt, a little bit of a cutback, comes up from Gulfstream. I think that one's a player too. On the numbers, the recent numbers, they actually have an edge on the top pick. So again, I jump into this one without a lot of confidence, but I'm 2-5-3-1.
If you throw out the off-going effort, you dial this into me. Martingale's numbers tower over Chanteuse, who is, that's just atypical. And by the way, because you're talking about colors, see, when I put the conditions, it's light gray, but this one will be yellow because there's no older horses in it. These are all 3-year-old fillies. So when I refer back to this race in the future, the yellow highlight versus the gray will indicate to me that there were no older horses, even though.
And again, the condition for folks who are new to the game, the condition is 3-year-olds and up.
Yes.
So it is notable if there are no up.
There's no ups. I'm 5-2-1. I just have it in reverse, and I'll, quite honestly, Seth, I the mile, which is 2 turns on the dirt at Monmouth Park, to 7 furlongs, and we tout, the buyer speed figure. I would sign up for 9-2 right now. I don't see. I don't know.
I'm going to be interested to
When
see
we
where
get
the odds
5-2,
shake out here. I'm going to be interested because
I think Martingale is a, I'll be honest with you. I thought, would be the morning line favorite.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure
it's not even close.
Is going to take as much action as anticipated.
And I have, the 2 for Todd Pletcher, the offspring of Into Mischief. Now, I'll say one thing. I tend to be far more forgivable because I wouldn't like, horses at 2 to 5 on debut regularly. And as I've said before, gave me something to like, early speed, and then, regressed. Could be multiple reasons why. But I wouldn't be willing to find out at 6 to 5 the next time in this field on top. And then for third, Lord I Wonder, a firster from Al Stahl, who got strong state home yesterday. Congratulations to our good friend Al. And so 5-2-1 in the opener, which sees a field of 6 and no older horses.
Yeah.
Going 7/8.
And again, for people who are new to the game, 3-year-olds against older horses. We're getting to the time of the year where it starts to make a little less, but it's still,
it lessens,
it's an advantage if you're an older horse. Second race today at Saratoga, conditional claimers, they will go 6.5.
Some people would even say probably, a good 3-year-old, a good 4-year-old, they still want the weight in the autumn. Yeah. So they're, maybe they, in theory, never catch up. 4, 7, and 6 for me, Giants Fire. I like very much here for John Terranova. Tried the 2L for 45, now comes back for 25. But I like the effort before that. I've mentioned before that it's not a fluid situation, but I didn't grow up with starter allowance races in New York. We didn't have them until a couple of years ago, but I think they are markedly stronger than these 2Ls, 3Ls, etc. So that was a competitive effort. I think John Terranova has found a good spot. For second, Dillinger. First time in for a tag from a sharp barn. And for third, Uncle Charlie's Gift for Nick Zito. Hasn't run since October. Is listed as a first-time gelding. That's very believable in this spot. The offspring of Uncle Mo, 4, 7, and 6.
I'm 5, 7, 3, and 4. I put Stormquist on top. Takes a little class dip for Linda Rice. And it's the kind of dip that makes you scratch your chin a little bit. But it's up here at Saratoga. It's Linda Rice. Linda Rice is a part owner, so I'm just going to be trusting that, claim the horse 5 starts back, and they have a couple second place finishes, so they have put some money in the bank here. I'll trust that this horse is going to be well spotted. Dillinger in the second spot, Brittany Russell trainee, third start back of the season. A little bit of improvement number-wise, start 1 to start 2, so I would think Dillinger potentially primed for a good effort in this third start back off those 2 improving efforts. And Pascal Moon in the third spot. Nice try last time, claimed out of that. And that was a drop down to this level. Seemed to appreciate the group last time. We'll see if this one can, improve on that. And I don't think that's out of the question. In the second, I have a 5, 7, 3, and 4.
Mark Henning giving out Monmouth Park turf information now, along with ours. He's the best.
Yeah.
We love him. We're on the turf scheduled, at least for now.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Think every chance we get it. 3-year-olds and up, maiden special weights on the inner turf course, racing a mile and a 16.
1A, 4, 7, and 3. A lot of times I won't parse out the entries. If they're underneath, I almost always use both halves. On top, though, I just can't take the shot that a horse I think is the much better half scratches. And I do think the 1A is the much better half. This is a Rapoli-owned entry. Well, 1A goes out for trainer Todd Pletcher. 3 races so far that I think have an edge on this bunch. So I'm going to land there, 1A. Passive management. Passive management is interesting. This horse, and I can't figure out why the racing form doesn't show the foreign sales. I will alert you. You can check. And I checked because it's Chad and Klarovich. And the last few years, Klarovich runners for Chad, certainly Peter Brandt runners, have been purchases overseas at auction. And when you see the foreign breeding, I went and looked. If you go to Equibase, you can find it. So the information is out there. I can't figure out why the racing form doesn't put it. But anyway, it was a tatter sales.
Want to do it,
but they do it for American auctions. So it's just I don't.
They just because you have made the point perfectly.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, but that gives me a chance
You could get your MTO symbol. I could get 3-year-olds and up symbol. It's not. Yeah. We got a man to the moon. 50 years ago? So no.
But this one was sold at tatter sales October 2022, over $600,000. So attracted some attention. It's an unraced dam. There are no siblings to look at. Dubai, we certainly attract some attention, and the connections and a steady string of workouts. I'll be interested to see what this one does for these connections. And I think, again, you have to consider that one with that setup. And then Inherent Promise on the outside, number 7, coming off a series of, I thought, pretty nice races down at Gulfstream Park. I thought, given those races, should mix it up with this bunch today. I'm 1A, 4, 7, and 3.
The 10 was an MTO, so 10, 1A, 4. And the 10 will scratch out if it's a turf race. Throw in the 6 on bottom. I agree with you. I might have been closer to taking the entire entry. If Steadfast Resolve goes, I'll tell you one thing, boy. And I had a conversation with Dale Romans last summer, whatever day you were going to have him on your show. I've known Dale a very long time. Not this time as a stallion is in the stratosphere. I mean, I had him against Classic Empire in the Breeders' Cup. Classic Empire beat me, and not this time, never ran again. But he's become an outstanding stallion for the Steadfast Resolve. But I'm storm ready also. I thought this was the strongest horse in the race. But if George Weaver sends out Steadfast Resolve, I think the entry is going to be very tough. And unfortunately, a very, very, very short price in here. Passive management for our folks that pick up during Saratoga or Casual, there is probably not finer turf breeding possible in the world. Just to give you a Dubai, one of the few things I've ever been ahead of the curve on, He's right. Galileo's passed away, and Frankel is young, but he is right there. This is as good as it gets. 8.5 might be a little short. And then I know on the screen, we want to throw in the 6 for the second time starter. I think for Chad could be very dangerous, making the turf debut, outwardly posted. So in truth, the 10 will be scratched if it's a turf race. So 1A, 4. So I'm in sync with Seth, but I have the 6 for third.
And I'll do the dark horse play today. Yesterday, and I'll try to do that throughout the meet if it happens. Yesterday's dark horse play of the day here on the show wound up scratched. So I did a revised version, put a graphic together. I tweeted that out. They showed it on the station. And again, I tweet all the time. And so they, as I say, I'll try to do that if there are scratches. Now, that said, got a good run at the top of the stretch at a huge price and then just could not sustain. But our day 2 dark horse play today brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. Going to be in race number 10 this afternoon. I have it 8547, but I'm going to make the 5 my dark horse play of the day because my top pick in here is 5-2. But Beach Blanket, first time starter, is 15-1, and I think this is going to be an interesting horse with the debut effort. Debuts for a tag for Linda Rice. Nice, a little steady string of workouts. A couple of them seem okay. They're not going to jump off the page running for the 40 tag, but there's some breeding here. Omaha Beach on top. I like that. Omaha Beach to me is a win early type sire. This one did have a debut winning sibling, albeit in South Korea, a horse named Blue Chipper, but there was a sibling that won in the career debut. So I thought this horse, again, Omaha Beach on top. Dams produced a winning sibling first out, little win early top and bottom. I think the horse could be interesting at a price in here in the finale. So dark horse play of the day today. Race number 10, horse number 5, Beach Blanket, again, brought to you by our friends at the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga and their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga. And Marianne Barker from Impressions yesterday texted me after we got off the air and said, get the word out. And I went down and visited with them. We'll try to have them on maybe next week, and they can further explain the situation. Dark Horse is open and running, and if you're downtown, stop. Impressions, the same thing. Unfortunately, in their building 2 weeks ago or so, there was a water pipe break. And so that hit their electrical system and whatnot, and they are still in the phase of repair. So Impressions is technically closed, but if the weather's nice, like a day like today, they put a little pop-up tent out on the sidewalk. So you can go shop, or you can send somebody into the store to pull out items that you may be looking for. So they've kind of compensated nicely. And it sounds like sooner rather than later they'll be open again. But I just wanted to explain the situation if you're headed downtown to take a look at Impressions or Dark Horse. But again, thanks to the folks at Dark Horse for their sponsorship of the play of the day.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, more from Saratoga.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse. Welcome back to the Handicappers Report, day 2 from Saratoga. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino, and we're right here in front of Clare Court. Have some horses walking out. I had to wait for the Linda Rice set this morning. There was a number of them going over, and that's part of the fun of being up here at Saratoga. All right, the main source of fun is the races in the afternoon, and we'll get a thought on race number 4 today. We're looking at allowance non-winners of 1 other than runners scheduled for 5.5 on the grass.
The 8 will be not running if it is a turf race, which we completely expect and look forward to. So it'll be posted, but it's 7-6-3 for me in a turf contest. The 8 is a MTO, but Wesley Ward sends out the 7. One of my favorite angles is third start of a career, third start in a cycle. Now, we haven't run back to last year's numbers, but I very much like the first 2 starts this year. Jose Ortiz gets them out. Up next, Jarl going out for Christophe Clement, another horse making the 3rd start since last summer at Saratoga. Then Linda Rice, who won the 3-horse race yesterday, sends out Sesame Seed Bagel. I enjoy those. Number 3 is my second time on the turf. Very nice debut. So 8 you can throw out. So 7-6-3 for me.
I'm not a big bagel guy. I'm more donuts. Bagel's just all crust. Give me a good
You like
donut.
pizza?
I do like pizza. Well,
probably like the crust, right?
The stuffed crust I like. 6, 7, 4, and 3 for me. Yarrow on top. You alluded to it. 3rd start back off a couple of nice efforts so far. I think is primed to run well for Christophe Clement. Tunisian Spring, I don't know what to make of the first 2 starts because they're such a step backwards from the promising start to the career. I mean, you can kind of forgive one, but this one is also the first start was on a sloppy field track. The second start was on turf. Now, we string a couple of turf races together. So maybe
how
you
best
do
are you in turf numbers? I'm hardly at all.
No, I agree with that. I do rely on them, but when it push comes
might
to
not
shove,
bet a 26 versus 76. But did you also notice on the turf, you never see those negative zeros?
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's hard to get a very poor turf number.
Yeah.
Just the way the races are.
But I'm going to be interested to see because certainly last year, off of last year, if this was the seasonal debut, he'd clearly be the favorite.
I think for the horizontals, I think you have the 6, the 7, you move on.
At 4th place, I have the number 4, 26 Black. I thought off the last couple of races was also playable in here. I mean, the last couple of numbers are better than Tunisian Spring's last couple of numbers. So for me, in the 4th, I have it 6, 7, 4, and 3.
Now, 5th race, the Vanilla Claimer 20,000 going 6 and adjusted for inflation. Like this was like, wasn't this rock bottom 30 years ago?
Yes. Yeah. I have it 6, 7, 9, and 4. I put Chateau on top. Rudy Rodriguez, runner. Irad Ortiz on board. Hasn't been seen since early May, but has some nice early positional speed. Tends to be in the hunt, or certainly over the last few starts, that has been the case. I mean, this is a 9-year-old actually now who still is running very well, and that Irad elected to jump on board attracted my attention. Joking Way, 15-1 on the morning line. I thought this horse was playable. I mean, there's some numbers underneath that are good enough. Gets a little class dip today that maybe gets us closer to those better numbers, and at a price, I think that one is worth a look. And then Tommy Amos has Safa's Day. Again, this is one of those that it's hard to know where to go exactly. They claimed the horse 2 back for $80,000. They moved up the ladder in the follow-up. The race claimed out of was a win. The follow-up was not good, well-beaten 7th, and now they take a notable drop. So I wasn't quite sure what to do. I just couldn't ignore the horse off the form prior to the last start. In the 5th, 6, 7, 9, and 4.
The first 2 days of racing, this might have been the most complex race I've come across. My horse is a bomb in here, ribbons and medals. So even if you throw him out, as in a no chance, if he's in your group that has no chance, there's 6 or 7 live in here. And I've said this before, when when that's the case, I mean, I know this might sound like it's working contradictory, but I like taking horses when it's the Mount Everest race where you have the one horse as a pick out. And it is harder for long shots when there's depth, but not quite the height of Mount Everest. But to me, as a public handicapper, selecting between one of the 5 or 6, and I thought Ribbons and Medals, who definitely has to improve a couple lengths. That's why it's 20-1. I say this with regularity. You're allowed to ask far more questions when the price is high. So I just was thinking Wayne Potts second off the claim and Improve first. I'm just taking an absolute flyer in a race where you have a dozen and half the field. I mean, I have horses left out of here that Seth's top pick, Chateau, is in the mix for me. Where's Flavian Prats now? Funny Joke, who's 8-1, is in the mix for me. So I'm 2, 8, 9 in here in a boy. For the horizontal players, good luck to
Yeah,
them.
I agree. 6th race this afternoon. One of those restricted maiden specials. It had to be purchased at auction for $50,000 or less. They will travel in race number 6, 5.5 furlongs.
So that was Strong State yesterday. The filly condition for this for Al Stoll, right? I usually put the R. I don't know why I didn't put the R. Now I do know why I didn't do it, because I made a mistake. Simply put, yeah, that's capital R is the first thing. Capital B for the state breds. Let's see where you are. Okay. We're actually closer than I thought. 9, 10, 6. And I'll tell you, I like the fact that Seth put the 6 in second place, because this horse easily for me, and, we said this before. I mean, I had a thought with Punch the Clock. It worked out, but I'm a public handicapper here, and, but this is close to guessing. I mean, just sometimes with the 6, that is. But I would guess that can run a little bit. We're going to find out. But the first I went for is Jimmy Ryerson's Replevin. Is this a thing, a word, a person? I don't think it would be Replevin, do you?
Replevin?
Replevin? Probably should have looked that up. It's a first-time starter. I'm guessing this is Tom Statott's first crop, right?
That
math
sounds
is about right. My rule of thumb is 4 years after you retire, your 2-year-old should run your first crop. That's the math I come up with. And I made these picks before the opener yesterday because I have another Dylan Davis firster at a price. Underneath, I have Classic Time, who was very good on debut. We can all see it, the offspring of Classic Empire, juvenile champion of a couple of years ago, and then King's Leap taking a flyer for the Finger Lakes shipper. Seth thinks even more of him. 9, 10, 6.
I love the 2-year-old races. If people who watch know, I like looking up the breeding and whatnot. There was nothing here that really jumped out at me. So I jump in with, again, not a whole lot of confidence, but have some prices that make up for the lack of confidence. 5, 6, 10, and 8. Storm the Streets. A little bit of breeding here. Joe Sharp can get him ready. I think the workouts down at Churchill bode well for this one in debut. Luis Saez on board. King's Leap coming in from the Finger Lakes. New York bred facing Open Company, but Open, again, restricted company by the auction price.
Open.
Yeah. But the workouts up at the Finger Lakes are okay. And that they elect to take the shot here, I think, says something. In Classic Time, Mark Cassidy trainee with a start under the belt may wind up living up to the morning line and be the one to beat. I have no arguments there, or with Strength and Guidance, who has a couple of nice starts down at Gulfstream for Antonio Sano. So, again, I jump in with a lack of confidence, but I'm 5, 6, 10, and 8.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, the final pick 4.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Race number 7 back on the turf. 8.5 furlongs on the inner.
5, 7, 8, and 12. And we expect to be on the turf, but again, if it happens otherwise, I have dirt picks on the one sheet on the website.
We expect to be on the turf at Monmouth.
That is pretty good. 5, 7, 8, and 12. Number 5, Palace View, going out for Mark Casse. Comes down from Woodbine for Mark, where he does so well, and this one did well last time. Nice little second place finish. That after having come up from a winter season at Florida where the horse ran well. I think class-wise, class is up nicely, in good form, having won 2 back-to-golf spree and good second last time at Woodbine. Plus, Irod Ortiz on board. Second slot, we'll take a look at Mortius in the coming out of the 7-hole again. And third start back after, kind of an early season break. These days, that's not a huge notable break from February to May, but has come back, put in a couple of nice improving starts, second place finish and a win most recently. Now, they were for 40 conditional tags, so this might be a little bit of a saltier group, but I think off the recent form is going to fit. And left them behind goes out for our friends at Saratoga, Jack Knowlton and Company, Barkley Tag Training, and I think getting back to the turf could be intriguing. 2 back. Started the season on the turf and ran decently. Belmont at Saratoga a few weeks ago tried the dirt. Didn't fare quite as well. But as I say, third start back, getting back to the turf, left them behind. Interesting. In the 7th, 5, 7, 8, and 12.
5, 4, 6 for me. Just to show you, Seth, that they don't want to do it. You look at our top pick, Palace View. You look at the form, and they figured out how to take off the turf races that are run on synthetic to show to you that it wasn't originally scheduled to be a synthetic race. Now, I've thought about it for 1 second, and with the 3-year-old and up that doesn't have the older horses, instead of the arrow, make a bullet point.
Yeah.
This is simple stuff. But, thank you for giving us the off the turf that will run on the synthetics here, and I like Palace View very much here. I'm signing up for the 92 right now with Mark Casse and Irad. I have Classic Creation, though. I do think is a major underplayer horse and Addicted to You at a big price. So 5, 4, 6.
Stakes action kicks off in race number 8. It is the Wilton. They'll put up $135,000 for 3-year-old fillies going the 1.5 turn mile.
Last year's winner?
I don't know. I don't remember.
The famous off the Wilton into the Alabama, right? Randomized.
Oh, okay.
Right? It turned out to be a great horse here. So I'm not so sure it's going to happen again today, but let's go with 7, 6, 1. Seth doesn't even have my top pick on the board. Okay. Michael Trembetta comes off of a W at Laurel, an outside post position going a mile 16th. That's a good run in there. Should set it up well for here. We're on the outside going 7. Bell's Beach making the first start versus winners in the 3rd career start. And for 3rd, Miss Justify from the inside with Flavian Pratt. I think this is a very maybe Lady Moscato and Windy Walk. So 5 I have very live in here. And you touch, with the 4. So a very, very good horse race.
Yeah, I have yours down in the 4th slot. 1, 4, 6, and 7. Miss Justify, the 1 turn mile. She has some early speed, or showed it last time anyway, going a mile down at Churchill. That's, the shoot out of the backstretch. But in this, half turn kind of a situation, if she can show that speed today, might be in a good spot as they reach the backstretch. So I'll put her on top. Striker has Dial in the 2nd slot. Nice maiden breaker, really nice maiden breaker down at Laurel. And then a few weeks ago up here at Saratoga, good second behind the very talented Ways and Means. Well beaten second, but again was behind Ways and Means. And given stepping into that company off the debut down at Laurel, and with a number that went ahead 26 points. I thought it was a good effort and probably deserves the shot in here. And then Bells Beach, Chad Brown runner, who has shown some ability in the first 2 starts herself. So for me, 1, 4, 6, and 7.
All right, take our final break. When we come back, the final Daily Double.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Handicappers Report coming to you live for the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course in front of Clare Court on a very pleasant Friday morning. We're scheduled to be on the turf today. The co-feature this afternoon, 5.5 furlong turf sprint. These are for 3-year-old fillies, the Coronation Cup. And according to Dave Grenning yesterday, according to Charles Appleby, Star and Mystery will take on the boys tomorrow in the quick call and will not play today. And I think many people would have found 9 to 5 morning line very attractive.
I had put her underneath.
You did? Okay.
Just because of a third to Cogburn. And this seems like a kind of a quick turnaround off of that crazy. I mean, that was fast.
Well,
and she was
the new stakes record, and they dropped, the turf was very fresh and Cogburn was great.
Yeah, but she was third, so she's right in the mix. And just recently, but again,
well, not only that, she was
filly,
taking on 3-year-old and up.
That's what I'm saying. 3-year-old filly against the boys and the older boys. So she's certainly talented. I had her underneath her. I had it 6'10", 5, and 8. I put Ever So Sweet on top. Brad Cox trainee has looked good throughout the career, but the seasonal debut is the best yet. So she may be ready for this assignment. Second spot, I did have Star of Mystery. We'll see where she does wind up. This is the
strongest, I feel, scratch, not yet official ever.
Yeah. And she's coming. She will be interesting tomorrow, certainly. Twirling Queen in the third spot. Last 3 starts, 3 wins. 2 of them were in stakes races at Gulfstream and Churchill. So this one's in very, very good form. 6'10", 5, and 8.
I've said it many times before about the great work that we are blessed to get from David Aragon on the morning line. So there's no acceptable discussions on the morning line because the big filly is coming out. Pipsy is my top pick in here coming out of the Tepin. 3rd start this year, 3rd start in the United States for Will Walden. Second, you don't even have Cloud Walker in here, who I thought is a major threat in here, and then Ever So Sweet, 2nd start of the year after the dynamic victory. But to me, Pipsy, I like very much in here, and you do not even.
I seriously looked, and I had Joe Christofek on the morning of the 29th. I'm talking about stakes down at Churchill. He was really high on Pipsy that day, and went back to the win in the Soaring Softly. where if you didn't see it, she got off horribly and then came late and won. And off of that, he was very high. And so I really looked at Pipsy. I have no arguments with
So the race is going to change as much as races can change, odds-wise.
10th race, the 10th and final, scheduled to go off at 6:20 this evening. I have maiden claimers going 1.60 miles on the grass.
Plans tonight?
I don't know. I'm about to think about it.
Oh, look at
I don't have.
Man
do I have
mystery.
plans? Not yet.
A man of mystery. 635, excuse me. 635 Comanche Peak gets my top pick in here. As I said, we make these selections the day before, half a day. Smooth and Easy is a gigantic price in here, but that's I don't think that 20-1 morning line is going to hold up with the bettors. And then Seth's beach blanket. For those who don't know, Seth used to be jetting off the set on closing day as they were dismantling it as he worked his way to the beaches of Maine.
Yeah, that's.
Those were the days, my friends. We thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance.
8547 for me. I will put Adventure Spirit on top. The Pletcher runner with the experience, probably the deserved 5-2 choice in here, and the one to beat going maiden special weight to maiden claiming. But again, as I mentioned earlier when I talked dark horse play today, a little bit of breeding for beach blanket. So I think this one could be interesting at a price in the debut. And Pujol in the third spot comes in off a couple of tries. Recently against 40 claimers and 75, fared better against the 40, back in against the 40 today. So I think at the class level deserves a look at a price in the 10th, 8, 5, 4, and 7.
And who do you have coming up?
Top of the hour, Racing Across America. We will be joined by Andy Belfiore, Executive Director of the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. We'll talk a little New York racing with Andy and more. Then Phil Bauer will join us. Had the nice winner yesterday. Warrior Johnny looked really good. Hearing him in the winner's circle talk about it, I would think we could see that one return to stakes action. Some other interesting horses we'll touch on with Phil. And then Mike McAdam from the Daily Gazette, covering horse racing for the Gazette. We'll talk about the meet ahead still and more with Mike. All of that just in a few minutes. Top of the hour, Racing Across America.
Yeah, terrific day. Day 2, a lot of excitement on day 1. Brooklyn Cowboy giving out a $91 down the road winner in the listed Schuylerville Stakes. He stays, I go, ladies and gentlemen. See you back here tomorrow morning.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.